So I'm at Myron's Extreme Machines with Sam here, Electric Bicycle Center in Fullerton, California, and we're opening up the Rubbee. We're gonna put it on this giant Revel, just kind of a base level mountain bike, but it's got suspension, you know, it's kind of a cool setup. I might weigh the bike separately from the unit and just to get an idea of, you know, what we're working with. What is that, 31 point something? About a 31-pound bike. Okay, so you know there are lighter bikes out there, but just to give you an idea, they sent this over from Europe, but it is going to be available a few different places here in America. Wow, that's nice. It took forever to get this demo unit through customs. There you go.
It's nicely packaged.
Oh yeah. Rubbee fits every standard bicycle wheel from 16-inch to 29-inch, so 29er or 700C. It needs 22 to 35 millimeter seat post, and the width of the tires need to be between 22 millimeter and 60 millimeter. Okay, and you need 80 millimeters of height, so that means, you know, you can't have the seat too low. And here it is on a full suspension bike or a road bike. There's the little, okay, so it does have kind of like a pedal assist thing, a little pass sensor that goes on. Oh, look at that. It's got another little instruction book thing going on here.
So I'm assuming this is going to be your charger, probably.
Probably.
And it's a fairly compact charger, too.
Oh, look at that, 12 magnet cadence sensor. So this is that disc that would go at the bottom bracket, and it's got 12 little magnets that pass the sensor.
Behind the pedal crank.
Behind the pedal crank. And there's the clip-on. Okay, what does this say here real quick? It's like output 12 volt to 7 amps. 105 watt max.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
It's got the little leather strap on it.
And real leather, too, I was reading.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Looks like some type of a hydraulic arm there.
You want to weigh it with me?
Yeah. It's got some weight to it.
15.7 pounds. Okay.
Right on.
Not bad. 15 pounds. A lot of times, those little like 8-fun motors are like 8 pounds, and then a battery will be about 5 pounds. So this is kind of similar to a motor and battery. It is going to bring the weight up a little bit higher and towards the back of a bike, obviously. The fact that you can use it on multiple bikes is kind of cool, as I guess barring that whole pedelec sensor.
You know, when I first looked at this, it looked like hard ABS plastic, but if you touch it, that's actually got rubber.
Let's see the underside real quick again here. What does this say? E-Pack model Rubbee V2. Okay, no worries.
250 watt, your battery's here.
I was charging the battery a minute ago, and it's got this slider, and it's sort of, let's see here. So this is how it works. You've got the charging cable all plugged in up there, and here it is connected to the Rubbee. You actually have to like twist it, so you plug it in like this, and then twist, and it clicks, and you hear it beep, and then you can actually see the LED light in the rear sort of blinking on and off. And this is cool. It's a really neat sort of a safety feature that they've got going on. It's really well engineered. There's the power button. We'll take off the little sticker. Beautiful. Kind of a hard case. Just little quick release mechanisms. This is going to be fun to get this on the bike. Here's the primary instructions, which is a little bit more the wheel size and a basic overview. Then there's this smaller paper that talks about how to get those cadence sensors put on, and it's pretty good. You know, this one really just talks about the clip-on version. This is the disc that kind of splits in half, and then you use that piece of metal to kind of bind it. And then there's the little sensor. It's got some kind of a sticky pad on the back. We've zip-tied these up here, and then we've also zip-tied kind of like the sensor itself, and there's room to put 2 zip ties, one down here and one up here. It looks like it'll work all right, and the sensor's on a pivot, and it's right next to that magnet. And Sam had a good point about any cadence sensing pedal assist like this. So you see that disc is there. Sometimes these discs can get bumped, and then when the crank arms rotate, you can kind of see like, oh, it's going close and far, and that can actually be a source of sort of breakdown for an electric bike. And people are like, what's wrong? My bike broke. And you say that's not the case, that people can actually fix that themselves. And then this is the 12 magnet sensor, whereas the other one was only 10. And have you found a huge difference between more magnets versus less?
Yeah, the more magnets you got, the more quicker it'll start and the quicker it'll stop. The biggest problem for some people is on some of the older bikes from 7-8 years ago is they stop pedaling and the bike will continue to run for a second or two.
Oh, yeah.
A second or two doesn't sound like that much, but it is when you're going into a corner and you want to so you have to touch those brake inhibitors, as you always say.
Yeah,
when you're reviewing the bike.
Which this one doesn't have. This doesn't have brake inhibitors, and so it's good that they're really packing the magnets on there. It's going to be more sensitive, more responsive, but just keep that in mind. You don't want to power into traffic accidentally or go off a cliff if you're on a mountain bike like this.
Let's get this thing running.
Let's get it going. Finally, right? So we just took the bike off the stand, and this is another point. You know, we were able to maneuver fairly easily because it was in this park tool. But if you're working on the bike yourself, I don't know if people flip bikes upside down sometimes to be a little easier to work on. They're not squirrely. We're going to put the unit on right now, and Sam was saying there's no rubber grommet, you know, in the seat tube connector point, and maybe that's because it's heavier and they want that precision versus the sloppy play. But that could end up, you know, if you have a carbon fiber seat post, don't use that. Make sure you've got aluminum or something. Okay, and there's the cool, it's got like a little shock.
Almost clearing it.
Genuine leather. Cows everywhere crying.
And then we want to turn this down, get it lined up, and you're probably going to fold that across like that.
Well, and is this...
I think I'm way too high at this point.
Yeah, it's pop a wheelie with this thing. Okay, but that's what it looks like, kind of connected. Let's bring it down and see if we can... Hopefully this... So there's a switch, a pivot thing.
Yeah, that's what I need to do next.
There we go.
I'm assuming it's in the up position right now.
Yeah,
and that's going to be the down position there.
That was cool. And it's like spring loaded, so that's supposed to be like you lift this and then lock that, and that's what holds it up. Lift it up all the way higher. Okay, now
and push
let
back
go.
In. Oh,
there
nice.
We go.
Very cool.
We got it. We got it. And this looks to be fairly, you know, I don't know if we can get some water on the road or something, but it looks fairly grippy. So you'd imagine.
I don't know about that.
And then let's turn as fast as we can.
No, let's. Yeah, that's a good test, though. I would imagine in Europe, there's a lot more water than there is here.
Do you have like a hose around here or something?
We do, right at the back door. We'll
okay.
Get it through there and see how that performs.
I'll risk my life for this.
I don't think with this amount of power, it's going to actually slip.
It's a 15 mile per hour top speed on this, and there's a lot of weight pushing down. So, and here are basically the little connectors again. They go on the other side. They're going to be dangling a little bit, one of them, but let's get it out there. So this is the Rubbee 2.0. We finally got it all hooked up to the bike. Got it plugged in right here. We've got our second Cadence sensor hanging out. We're gonna test the two of those. And we figured out how to make it go up and down. Just a little bit of background on this unit. So it has a 250 watt motor, and it's, you know, rather compact, like right in here. The battery on this is lithium iron phosphate, and it offers 14.4 volts and 20 amp hours. Now, if you compare that to more traditional, like purpose-built electric bikes with hub motors, they tend to have higher voltage, like 36 volt battery. So for this one to be 14.4, it's a little bit lower voltage, but they might not need as much power because you've really got a leverage when you're spinning a motor here than instead of centrally on the frame. And again, just the craftsmanship here. This is aluminum alloy casing, powder coated white, the leather strap, and you know, aside from hooking up those extra sensors, and maybe you order an extra set of those, kind of a neat option for people out there. So we've got Sam. How's it going, Sam?
Good.
And we're going to go ahead and do a test ride. I've already ridden it. I was going to send Sam out there. The battery isn't fully charged. We, just kind of topped it off after installing it inside. And to get this thing going, you press the little power button over here, and then you get to see the light up on the back, which is really cool.
Well, something that makes this kit completely unique from any other electric bike that's on the market right now is the fact that it probably only takes less than 60 seconds to remove the kit from the bike. So you ride to work or somewhere in a public place, and it's got this awesome big handle right here. You could actually disconnect your motor and carry it with you.
And charge it in the office.
And charge it with the office.
And keep people from tampering with it.
Exactly.
That is
So
an excellent point.
You're taking the whole unit off the bike with just disconnecting this and opening this up here.
Okay, well hop on and let's hear your, feel all right?
You've got 15 pounds of weight in the back, so it's a little back heavy, but not bad.
Not bad.
And 15-pound motor kit wouldn't be bad to be carrying around as well. All right, I'm ready to go.
Go for it.
So. But once we get going, it's pulling me right along. And to be totally fair as well, this is a mountain bike with a knobby tire. I mentioned if you had a smoother tire, you'd have way less noise on the back of this unit. It's kind of the incorrect tire on this friction drive system.
Whoa. Okay, it's another day. Came back and got some Schwalbe Fat Frank tires on this thing. These are extra large. They offer a little bit of kind of suspension, but they're relatively smooth, so we're not going to get the same sort of friction and sound that we experienced before with those knobby tires. Everything else on this bike is basically the same, but there is one thing that happened between then and now. You can see this hole right here. That's where this little release latch goes through. There's like a piece of kind of like, I don't know if it's metal or just really hard plastic. It used to have this nub on the end of it, right? And so that nub would go through and it would hold the unit up. So, you know, we've got that kind of spring pushing down. So the unit was in the up position like this, and someone was wheeling the bike around. They went off a curb, and just the weight of this unit just snapped that little piece. So now this unit will no longer stay in the upright position, which is too bad. That's something to just be aware of if you get this unit and you're walking it around in that up position. You know, you could snap that little nub too, and then you've got a permanently down Rubbee, which isn't so bad. I mean, it still works. I've noticed in riding this thing around, again, they say it's like 15 mile per hour top speed. It's hard to tell if you're really reaching that top speed. It doesn't feel especially fast. It's not as satisfying, especially as an American, where we have a lot of electric bikes that feel zippier, right? This one, if you're not getting power from it, it's almost kind of slowing you down. I mean, that wheel back there, you'll kind of see when I do more riding, but it's a little bit of a drag going on. And so this isn't what I would call a high performance setup. I was told that recently Rubbee has produced kind of an updated version of this that has improved electronics. It offers more torque, faster response, and faster charge time. So that's pretty cool. We might see a little bit better performance from their other units. I'm gonna go ahead and hop back on and let you guys see how it performs with these new Schwalbe Fat Frank tires. Okay, so we're just gonna come around here, press that power button. Again, I noticed that if you leave it for a few minutes, it starts to beep, and it'll automatically shut off, which is pretty cool. There we go. A little bit of a delay when I've stopped pedaling. You know, that's the pedal assist sensor kind of taking a moment to to shut itself off, and then coasting. So I'm gonna get it up to speed, and then I'm gonna stop pedaling, and you can see how it slows down quicker because of the drag. It just doesn't freewheel all that smoothly, and I think that's because, you know, they're pushing that rubber like wheel against the tire, but you can hear the motor like and that's slowing you down when the motor isn't on. And so if you were riding this and it was out of batteries, in fact, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to turn it off and then pedal around and try to give you a demo of what that would be like. Okay, so now we're completely off, but the unit is still in the down position. Again, I could put it up, but that nub is sort of broken, so it won't stay up. And even if I had it up, it seems like riding off even just one curb would bounce it down and could break it. So here we go. You know, I can pedal around. It's working, but I definitely feel like I'm pulling something. It's not smooth like, you know, freewheeling like a bicycle would normally be. And you can just hear it going right? Like that's the extra work that I'm producing, and it's not on right now. The unit's completely off, so sort of a question mark in my mind. One of the other things that I've noticed with the Rubbee is that if you're trying to climb, and especially if you have a lot of weight on this, I mean, I only weigh 135, but if you're trying to climb with this and really pushing it, it does have, it seems like sort of a self-protection mode. It'll just shut down, which is, I guess, good in terms of, you know, not breaking the unit, but you know, it's not super impressive when you're climbing a hill and then it like stops, and then not only do you have to still take yourself up, but you've also got this thing rubbing and kind of slowing you down. So again, for a more European product, it follows all their regulations and stuff, but it's not especially impressive for the Americas, unfortunately. These guys worked really hard to send a unit all the way over here, have me check it out. I'd be interested in trying out their updated version. But as far as this one, it's, you know, left a few question marks in my mind, but there really aren't a lot of products out there like this that are super easy to put on most bikes and that give you a little bit of, you know, a little bit of help fighting that wind or climbing those hills. So for the full write-up on this thing, I'll see you back at ElectricRideReview.com.